Magandang araw! Sama-sama tayong matuto sa Teacher Sal Learning Resource Channel.
Revised K-12 Curriculum English 5 Quarter 2 Week 3. Our topics are context clues, analogy, and appositive. Use of nonverbal cues in oral interpretation. Complete each sentence prompt. Think of comparisons that will help you figure out the meaning of the highlighted word. Marites likes telling made-up stories which are all fabricated. Made up is the synonym clue for the fabricated. The assignments given by the teacher are unreasonable. They are so tiresome. Very good. Unreasonable is the synonym clue for tiresome. Rico seems nonchalant about our difficult math exam, but he is actually quite worried. Worried is the antonym clue for nonchalant. David is so reckless when riding his motorbike. He should be more careful. Careful is the antonym clue for the reckless. Complete each sentence prompt. Think of comparisons that will help you figure out the meaning of the highlighted word. The gust of wind during a strong typhoon is like blank. You're right, the gust of wind during a strong typhoon is like a roaring beast. A volcanic eruption sounds like blank. A volcanic eruption sounds like a bomb explosion. Anna's voice is as gentle as blank. Anna's voice is as gentle as hummingbird. Sadness feels like. Sorrow feels like being cut by a knife. For the unlocking content vocabulary, analogy as context clue refers to comparisons that help in identifying the meaning of the word. She feels light like a feather. My feather is as strong as a lion. Time is gold. Appositive, a noun phrase that adds information about the noun before it. My mother, the leader of the Parents Club, is organizing the Children's Day event. The youth, our nation's hope, should be proud of being a Filipino. Vince brought his favorite food, carbonara, for the family picnic. Why do we need context clues? Context clues help us understand difficult words. Get meaning from the sentence itself. Become better readers. What is analogy? Analogy compares two things so we can understand one better. The desert is like an oven, extremely hot. Analogy word. The word oven helps us understand desert. What is appositive? An appositive explains or gives more information about a word. My cousin, a skilled guitarist, plays in a band. The appositive phrase is a skilled guitarist because it explains cousin. Context clues in the story. As we read the story together, pay close attention to how the sentences are written. Find analogy clues, comparisons. Find appositive clues, word explanations. Where do you usually see spider webs or cobwebs? What do people usually do when they see this? What do you feel when you see spiders? Why? The tale we are about to read is about a girl who was punished and turned into a spider. What could the girl have done to deserve such punishment? Let's read. Arachne the Spinner, retold by Geraldine Mack Corian. Once, when all clothes and clothes were woven by hand, there was a weaver called Arachne, more skillful than all the rest. Her tapestries were so lovely that people paid a fortune to buy them. Tailors and weavers came from miles around just to watch Arachne at work on her loom. Her shuttle flew to and fro, and her fingers plucked the strands as if she were making music rather than cloth. Friend 1 and 2, the gods certainly gave you an amazing talent. But Arachne boasted. Gods? There's nothing the gods could teach me about weaving. I can weave better than any god or goddess. Her friends turned pale. Better not let the goddess Athena hear you say that. I don't care who hears it. I'm the best there is. What is Arachne's skill? You're right, weaving beautiful cloths and tapestries. Why is Arachne popular? How popular is she? She is very popular because her weaving is lovely, and people come from far away just to see her work. What did Arachne say that shocked her friends? She said she could weave better than any god or goddess. What is the trait of Arachne that might displease the gods? Her pride and boastfulness. One day, an old lady sitting behind Arachne touched the yarns she had spun. The old lady asked, "So, if there were a competition between you and the goddess Athena, you think you would win?" "She wouldn't stand a chance, not against me." Suddenly, the old lady's gray hair floated like smoke and turned to golden light. Her coat became shreds, revealing a dazzling white robe. She grew taller and taller until she stood above the crowd. It was the goddess Athena herself. "Let it be so, a contest between you and me." Arachne trembled a little, but she smiled and said, "A contest then, to see who is the best weaver in the world." To and fro went the shuttles, faster than birds building a nest. Athena wove a picture of Mount Olympus. All the gods were there, heroic, handsome, clever, and kind. She even wove creatures so real that people sighed and gasped. Arachne also wove a picture of the gods, but she showed them in silly and foolish ways, dressing up, quarreling, and bragging. Her tapestry also showed nature so real that butterflies and lions looked alive. When both finished, the crowd stared in amazement. "You're the better weaver. Your skill is matchless. Even I don't have your magic." Arachne grinned proudly. "Didn't I tell you as much?" Did Arachne agree to compete with the goddess Athena? How confident was she that she will win? Yes, she agreed. She was very confident she would win. What happened to the old lady after Arachne accepted the challenge? She turned into the goddess Athena. How did Arachne perform in the contest? What did she weave? She wove a tapestry showing the gods being silly, but she made it so beautiful that it looked more real than nature. What did Athena weave on the cloth? She wove the gods on Mount Olympus, looking noble and powerful. Which weaving was better? Arachne's weaving was more beautiful and lifelike. Athene looked at Arachne's tapestry. "You are skillful, but your pride is greater than your skill, and you mock the gods. That is unforgivable." She pointed at Arachne's weaving and said, "Make fun of the gods, would you? For that I'll make such an example of you that no one will ever make the same mistake again." Athene took the shuttle from Arachne's hands and touched it to her mouth. Arachne cried out as her body shrunk. Her arms stuck to her sides, and only her long fingers remained stretching into legs. Her body shrunk to a black blob no bigger than an ink blot. A thread came out of her mouth. Athene hung her up on a tree. "Weave your tapestries forever, and however wonderful they are, people will shudder at the sight of them." From that time on, Arachne became the first spider, doomed forever to spin webs in corners and bushes. Though cobwebs are beautiful weaving, people always sweep them away. Why did Athene turn Arachne into a spider? You're right, because Arachne was too proud and disrespected the gods. How does the story explain why spiders weave webs? The story says Arachne was turned into the first spider and must weave webs forever. For day 2, let's discuss about analogy and appositive clues. Read each sentence carefully. Look for the words that compare one thing to another. Underline the analogy clue in the sentence. Answer the guide question after each item to show what the analogy means. Her shuttle flew to and fro, and her fingers plucked the strands as if she were making music rather than cloth. Here is the expected answer. Her fingers plucked the strands as if she were making music rather than cloth. What kind of fever is being described if she plucks the strands as if making music? What makes you say that? All of a sudden, the old lady's gray hair began to float like smoke about her head and turned to golden light? The answer is the old lady's gray hair began to float like smoke about her head. Can you demonstrate how it would like if your hair float like smoke about your head? What scene can you imagine based on the description of how Athene appeared? To and fro went the shuttles, faster than birds building a nest. Shuttles, faster than birds building a nest. How fast could one weave if it is faster than birds building a nest? In fact, she made them, the gods and goddesses, look just as foolish as ordinary folk. As foolish as ordinary folk. How different are gods and ordinary people? What would the gods feel if they were woven to look as foolish as ordinary folk? And though cobwebs are as lovely a piece of weaving as you'll ever see, just look how people hurry to sweep them away. Cobwebs are as lovely a piece of weaving. What makes cobwebs as lovely as a piece of weaving? Read each sentence carefully. Look for the word or phrase that explains or describes another word in the sentence. Underline the appositive clue in the sentence. Answer the guide question to show how the appositive gives meaning. Better not let the goddess Athena hear you say that. Expected answer: the goddess Athena. How is Athene described in the sentences through appositive clues? There was no mistaking the beautiful gray-eyed goddess Athene. The beautiful gray-eyed goddess. How is Athene described in the sentences through appositive clues? Underline the analogy and the positive clues and answer the questions about the meaning of highlighted words. Arachne skillfully weaves cloth like making magic. The answer: weaves cloth like making magic. How skillful is Arachne in weaving if she weaves cloth like magic? Arachne wove designs that are colorful as summer flowers. Colorful as summer flowers. What colors are Arachne's designs if they are colorful as summer flowers? Athene appeared wearing a beautiful robe that was white as snow. Robe that was white as snow. Describe the color of Athene's robe. Arachne looked nervous. She turned pale as a ghost. Pale as a ghost. Why would turning pale as a ghost mean that one is nervous? The talented spinner Arachne was too boastful. Talented spinner. Who is Arachne? For day 3 to 4. Reader's Theater. Work with your group. Read a script from your worksheet or learning activity sheets. Choose who will read each character. Practice reading with feelings and actions. Make a simple headpiece for your character. It is optional. Present your reader's theater to the class. Draw a t-shirt design. Show in your design what you learned in this week's lesson. You may use words and pictures in your design. On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 is the highest. How well did you work for this week's lesson? Explain your rating. What did you do this week that helped you learn better? What can the teacher do to help you learn more? Present your group's Reader's Theater performance of Arachne the Spinner. Watch the performance of other groups carefully. This is the rubric to be used in grading your performance.